So today I am very, very happy to be joined with both a personal friend of mine as well as friend of the show and very well-respected and acclaimed designer,
Oh,
VTOL Lacerda, designer of Vinos, the Gallery, CO2, Kanban, the upcoming Lisboa, as well as a host of other games that we're going to be talking about. So, my friend, VTOL, thank you for joining me.
thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here talking with you and to all the people who is listening.
Yeah, cool, cool. So,
Can you hear me now?
oh
Well,
yeah, we're totally good.
okay.
Um, so Amanda will come take care of the audio on my end as far as turning the microphone up a little
Okay.
bit, but you're
Thank you, Amanda.
totally fine. All right. So it's about what, 8:30, 9:30 your time right now?
Yeah, it's 9:30, 9:30. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I
9:30. It's
appreciate it.
okay.
I know you're a bit of a night owl, so this kind of works for you,
Yeah,
right?
I like this hour. It's true. Usually, I'm working or watching some shows in in TV, so I'm not a guy that like to go out much. But I like to go out when we meet at the conventions.
Yes,
That
definitely.
is a great time. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hanging out some at Origins here in a couple weeks as well, which I'm excited you're going to be joining
I will
Ego Griffin
be
at,
there.
right?
States.
Cool.
I'm very eager to go. Yeah.
Good. It
I
should.
I've been in New York once. I don't know, 10 years ago, probably. Yeah. And yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Good. All right. It'll be good to have you because you and I met up when we were at Essen last year, but have not had a chance to actually hang out outside the convention because, as you know, it's pretty exhausting there.
Yeah, but we meet one evening. Yeah, we met one evening during your meeting uh, when you make that union of
Uh huh.
uh, that follow heavy games and that follow heavy cardboard and like to play heavy games.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about yeah, heavy cardboard con because I was eager to be there because you play games that I really love.
Well, we
Uh,
would love to have you one year if we can
I
ever
hope
get the
so someday. Yeah,
schedules
yeah.
to work out. That'd be
It's
great.
on my to-do list for sure. Yeah, it is.
Cool. That'd be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, uh, what got you started? I mean, let me preface. We already had an interview, you, me, and back when Tony was on the show. But I figure for folks that are on YouTube that haven't maybe listened to our previous interview, I figure I would kind of start at the basics. And we have
Okay.
a bit of freedom here. We don't have a big time limit on this. So we'll start out with what got you started in the hobby as a gamer?
Oh, I don't know. I always play games, right? So since Monopoly or since Clue, I always play games.
All right.
Yes,
But
I
what
had
got you into the bigger, more hobby
yeah.
style games?
I can tell you this is there is a story behind it. I played mahjong with a couple of my friends during 3 or 4 years in a row, almost every weekend. So I'm a mahjong professional. Oh, it was at that time. I play with the real rules, not the mahjong from computer. My parents live in China, so they bring me a nice set of mahjong in bamboo. Yeah, really cool. And I played that game 2 or 3 years, and but I get bored. Of course, mahjong has a lot of luck, and I'm not fan of games with luck. So.
Oh,
So
I'm well aware.
yeah, and talking with Sandra, I was sure that the world should have more games, more modern games than only mahjong cards or Monopoly. Or make a search in internet and bang, BGG come up. So, and from that day, my life completely changed.
So,
I Yeah.
oh, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I just start to buying Puerto Rico, the top 100 at the time. It was 2005 maybe, and Puerto Rico, then game from Nisia, it was Tigris and Euphrates. I think you never did a review of it, or you never did a run through.
Of what game?
Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh, Tigris
Nisia.
and Euphrates. We did a trailer on it because we've only played it a couple of times, but it's one that we definitely want to go back and revisit.
Cool, because it's the only Nisia I love. So I'm Nisia fans, but it's the only Nisia I really like. I played that game, I don't know, 300 times maybe.
Seriously?
Because I had a friend that is completely fan of the game, and we played two players in half an hour. We could finish a game in half an hour, two players, and the game was really cool at the time. But I think I don't play it for about 5 years probably. So many new games to try, right?
Don't I know that?
Yeah.
So okay, so I know I had read in a previous interview that you had done that you actually came up with a diceless version of Monopoly.
Sorry?
Oh, back when you were young, when you were a little kid.
Oh,
you said
yes. I did. I had my own rules because I didn't like the time that the game take. And one of the things I really hate is that my friends could be put away from the game before the game ended. And one or two guys just keep going during 3 or 4 hours. So I made a set of rules. I had, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, probably.
That's awesome.
But it was in another life, yeah.
So, okay, so that was kind of your first, I don't know, take on designing games, or at least revisiting games, right?
Yeah, probably. But I think that my first redesign was the map of Age of Steam.
The Portugal map, yes.
Yeah, that's where I start to trying to design some games. And yeah, I was a fan, as you know, from Martin Wallace. And my favorite game at that time was maps, and I decided, why not, to make one map from Portugal, because nobody knows my country. So let's do it.
So, okay, so what motivated you to do it? Just because you wanted to put Portugal on the map, so to speak?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. There are so many maps from Age of Steam and none for Portugal. I'm Portuguese. Why not? Yeah. So I tried to design a map and just for fun and try it with some friends. They like it, and I place it. I upload it, load stuff on BGG. So and yeah, right now the map is still there.
Yep.
Anyone can play it, and it's a free map to everybody.
Yeah, I actually, one of my buddies, Chad, actually printed it up on nice paper for me and got it, and it's Amanda and I have played it and definitely enjoy it. So.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely, we did.
It's a very tight map, right?
It is, but
yeah, it starts with my design. So
good Age of Steam should be, right? So, okay, so let's get into talking about design a little bit. Now, to me, the most important question here to start with is, who do you design for? I mean, I've heard of stories of different designers designing for different people, whether it's themselves or otherwise, but who does VTOL design for?
Oh, I think I start designing for myself and my friends, because we had a great group, not right now because everyone followed their lives, but we had a great group at the beginning, and probably. I start designing for them and for me, because it's the kind of game I still do, because I only design games that I really like. And most of the people knows, because I still play my games. I'm playing my games online. I play my games live. I really like to play them, not only to play test, but also after they are played. So I think that's it. No more
Okay.
story behind me.
All
So
right. So on that note,
the friends who like me to play the same games I do. Yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that you don't burn out on your own games after playtesting as much as you do.
One of the things that I really believe is that if you don't design what you love, you shouldn't design at all. Okay, so I only for be able to do it, right? Because I only design things that I think I can play after it's released. It doesn't worth the time and the trouble and so many hours in playtesting, so many discussions, barring troubling with so many people that are involved in making a game if you at the end don't like the result, right? So
That makes
and
total sense to me.
I'm very lucky to be able to work with companies, of being working with companies that give me a green card to do whatever I be, and not can have that lucky, right? So
Sure.
I
Okay.
am,
Well,
and
let's go with that then. So, I mean, lately you've been working a lot, as you guys can see with the boxes that are behind me and around, with both Stronghold games as well as Ego Griffin games. So, how did those relationships come to be? How did you start working with those two companies in particular, and why them?
well, do you know that I start to work with What's Your Game? I'm very, I
Fair point.
appreciate a
Right. The
lot
original
their
Vinos. Right.
company.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate a lot of the company. I love Mariano, the owner of the company. You know Mariano,
Oh, yes.
and I love their games. So, and I was once again I was like could contact him by emails when I drawing my first draft of Vinhos. And he immediately saw something in the game and told me, we will publish your game. So I'm very thankful to him because without him, I will not be here talking to you today, probably. So, but things move on, right? And after that, he didn't have time to publish more games because he had another games that he prefer,
Good
and
problem to
I
have for
move on
him.
with CO2 with Geokix, another Italian publisher, and the Geokix go to Strongholds because they both published CO2, so it was a partnership between both companies. And after that, I met Steven from Stronghold, and he asked me for another game. I had Kanban at the time. I started to work with Stronghold, and it was all a coincidence. Nothing planned. Took the path they had. And Eagle Griffin is another story. They want Vinhos for a long time. I received some emails from them during. I still don't have the rights from Vinhos. They belong to What's Your Game, but they always want to publish Vinhos. And at the time, I was designing the gallerist and asked him. I don't have the rights for Vinhos, but I have another game. And they said to me, "No, that game is too heavy for us. We don't have time to develop that game." And I told him, you don't have to do anything. I do everything. You gave me green cards to do what I want, and I deliver key on your hand. I deliver the game for you to produce and distribute. And well, that's what happened. They left the game after they are ready, and they adjust it a little bit, and they produced and distributed. Just ask me for more games, and I had Vinhos to remake, and now they want some more games from me, and I'm happy with it. Yeah,
That's
that's it.
awesome. Very cool. So getting back now to your designs in general, theme
Yeah,
obviously plays a big part. It's something that you have to be passionate about the theme, yeah?
Vinhos. Yeah, I'm losing you
Oh,
for
sorry,
time.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, no, no.
again, the joys of technology from
Yeah,
Denver, Colorado to Portugal.
to Lisboa, to
Uh,
Porto.
So okay, so let's try it again. So I was talking about how theme is such an important thing to you, and it's got to be something that you're passionate about, the theme, or something that you're interested in at least. So you design theme first, mechanic first.
Well, you know that I design theme first, right?
Of
I don't
course.
start a game without. I don't start any design without being passionate. Because one of the things I love to do, and this is one of the part of that I love the most before developing or creating a game, is to research about the team. It's my least known game, but I researched the team during about 6 months before I start playtesting the game. So I really love. And Vinhos had two reasons. The first one is, once more, I want to place the map of Portugal in the industry. And the second one was because my uncle is enologist, is
No kidding.
engineer, agricultural engineering. It's how do you say? It's farmer engineering, farmer. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, no,
It's a
yeah,
guy
you're
that
good.
works in
Yeah.
It's a guy who works on the stuff from Earth, right? So, and he loves vinhos. Yeah, I love him. So, it was my first offer. It was to him. When I published the game, I offered the game. He still have the game, I believe, but never opened it. Just to watch it, probably, but never played it because it's not a gamer. But yeah, it was my gift to him at that time.
That's really
And
cool.
yeah, that's one story that started me to research the team.
All right. So what
Uh,
inspires you though to design these? I know you just mentioned how you have to be passionate about whatever the theme is, but where does this passion come from? What what keeps you up at night that keeps you passionate about designing? What is
yeah,
it about it?
it really keeps me up at night finding solutions for the games. Yeah, many times I don't sleep just because my head is 100,000 kilometers an hour. So yeah, the projects, I really can't stop thinking on it, and until I'm happy with it. Um, Maybe that's an obsession. I don't know, but once I start something and I want to get to the finish, I cannot stop thinking about it, and I keep going until it's finished. So. Uh, Doing the stuff that can take about 2-3 years to be finished, right? Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I just love to design games, and I just play testing and change them, and work hours with friends, and yeah,
All right.
I'm living my dream
So
right now.
on that note though, because I know you are so passionate and so excited about both refining, playtesting, and all those things, how do you decide a game is done? Because I mean, let's be honest. You can design a game forever and always be constantly tweaking and changing
Yeah,
and
it's true, right?
so
You saw that by Vinhos, a new
exactly.
version,
So
because
no. So
it has twice.
how do you decide when a game is done? When do you say, okay, that's it? Here you go. Let's go publish.
Actually, I make some push up to have at least one game in here, okay? Because the industry works like that. I want to have a game a year. Which game I don't know, never know. But I usually look for some gimmick in my game, and when that gimmick appears, or that gimmick for some reason showed up, I understand that the game is finished. For instance, with when I designed the galleries, the influence track didn't work as it works today,
Okay.
and I was about 2 months developed the game with me, and we talked about the game, and the game was around and around and around, and I didn't felt that I had the solution for the game is finished. Until one day that I decided, or I discovered, I created, I don't know, the influence track and the way it worked. And I said to me, okay, that's what I mean. This is what it means on the game. So the game is ready from now on. And feeling, then precision. And after it, you play the same game a few times, I don't know, 5, 6 times, and you don't want to change anything. So if you don't want to change anything, probably the game will be ready.
So that's the moment. You get there, as you say, the gimmick or the hook to the game, the one unique thing about it, and
something
then
that I was find it, and that sometimes is very annoying, because you know that the idea is there somewhere and you cannot find it, okay? And I cannot finish the game until I have this. But I cannot find it, but it will appear. I know that will. And that is very, I don't know the word, angustiant, angst, it's the word. You don't feel good until that.
Oh, you have angst. Yes.
Right.
I got it.
So,
okay.
yeah. And it's difficult those days sometimes, especially for Sandra and my kids, because I am in bad mood or something else. So,
That's
but yes,
funny.
after that you play a few times and you don't want to change anything, and you think the game is ready. Of course, after 1,000 people, it is released and it's at the market, and many people is playing, and you receive comments from all the world. You understand that it's not perfect, right?
So that's how you how you go back, or why I should say you go back and revisit some of these, whether it's Vinos like up here or the upcoming CO2. Yeah.
Yeah, and CO2 right now, but there are different reasons on Vinos and CO2. The real reasons about my change in Vinus was that I want more players to play the game. And I knew that the game was so heavy that most of the people that could enjoy the game will not play it because the rules are too much complex. So I decided to keep the game as it is because I really love it. I keep playing right now. And I want to try a new version that was not very different from the old one, but could bring more people to play the game. And I think it was the effort, because now I heard and people write to me version. Now I want to try the original game. So I think my idea was it, and it's working, because now I have many people that never thought in version of the game. So
streamline it a little, make it a little bit more mass
to
friendly,
make
a little bit
interest
more
game.
right, a little bit more approachable. And then once they realize, oh, hey, this 2016 version, this is pretty good. But hey, maybe that 2010 version isn't so scary anymore. Yeah,
just add 2 or 3 rules more. You know how to play the game, just add 1 or 2 rules more and you can play the original. Then you choose what you want to play. Probably with new players, you want to play the new version. Maybe when everybody knows how to play, just
fair enough. That's easy enough.
Yeah, it's more heavier. Everyone knows that, and people many times like heavier. I love heavier. So
I do. You and I mean, that's part of where our kinship, where our friendship starts from, right? So, okay. I know you say that writing the rule book is the hardest part a lot of times of designing a game. Yeah. So outside of writing the rule book, for you, what is the hardest part of designing a game, regardless of what game it is?
Oh, I don't know. All the games have their problems and have their happiness moments. When you find a mechanic that you really like, or you just made one that someone suggested something that you see, oh, that's it. This is the easiest moment. This is very cool. The other moments are when you know that something is not working and you don't have a solution. And it can be days, sometimes weeks until you find a solution. That's the hardest part of designing the game. I think the hardest part is this, to be happy with it. So, you know, I really need to be happy with it until I keep going.
Okay. So
I feel that is the hardest part.
So it's all about getting to a certain threshold for yourself to say, okay, this is the game that it needs to be. Getting it to that point then.
Yeah, not just the game. Sometimes just one mechanics or one part of the simulation of the game, something that to be in the game. I will not touch this anymore until the end of until it's released. For instance, English 3 or 4 years ago, probably 4 already, maybe more, I try with my friends, with a group, a playtest only with the part of downtown. So in the beginning, I didn't have the game at the time. I just had the grids of the downtown Lisbon.
Of the buildings, right.
Yeah, of the buildings, and the idea how to place them and how to score those buildings on the grids. So, and that part works so well that I keep them since the beginning, never change it. And all the game around it change a million times. So, and when you feel that, that's another good point on design games that I really love. It core, a strong core on the game that every part of the design could change, but the core is still there all the game. For instance, with Kanban, Sandra is there from the beginning. With Vinhos, I have the quadral since the beginning. So there are always a part of the game that I just created around the team and stay there all the way. And that is what I call the core of the game. And I feel when it happens, developing the game until the end, okay? Because sometimes you don't have the core and you have to release the designs. I have a lot of ideas in the shelves waiting for some time I could take them or not. I have 1,000 folders with teams and with ideas in my computer that I will never pick it up. Just
all right, so
empty folders.
So run with that. So what? Okay, so if you have all these folders that you have that for whether it's theme or different mechanisms or just different little nuggets of ideas that you have.
Usually ideas, yeah.
So how do you narrow that down? Because let's face it, I mean, I'm sitting around 4 different games around me right now with, you know, whether it's the Galeras, Kanban, Lisboa, or Vinhos. How do you choose that one and be like, okay, this is the one that I'm going to work on and this is what I'm going to try and make my next game? How do you make that determination?
Well, one of the reasons, as I said, it's about the core. If I have a strong idea that I think that can go forwards, I do it. But I usually have 3 or 4 ideas that I'm working on. For instance, one of games I'm working on right now, it's Escape Plan. It's one of adventure game that is very different from my other games. It will be lighter. I don't know if you like it, but it will be a lighter game. I start the game and it went to the shelf in 2009 and 2010. So it has a lot of years. And I choose to make other games after it and let this one on hold during all this time because it was not heavy enough for what I want to do at that time. So, and the idea was not I want to follow at that time. And the time arrived and I now picked up again in the game. I play tested a few times and said, oh, this idea that has in the beginning, it's strong, it can work. So probably it will be my next game. Let's see what happens. Okay, because I also have a few other ideas, still maybe some in Tabletopia also that I play tested already, but they are on hold. I like to grow old, you know. They
Kind of
gain
let it
some
mature.
experience, yeah. They mature a little bit, and I came back a couple of years after, and I can see clearly if I really like the idea, if it will work or not. Because when you start designing in the white sheet, everything seems right. Something that you draw there, it's okay. It's better than nothing. So, but if you put it on hold and after a few months or a couple of years go there, and you can see clearly if it works or not. And it's a process that works with me very well. And I can see much better if the game worth to be developing or not. People is waiting for one game that I'm developing. It's Mars,
Right.
but for now it's on hold.
You know,
So
that's actually
yeah,
really interesting, just as a side, because that's kind of where I'm at with the show. I have all these ideas for different content that I can produce, but I have this huge list, and I'm like, how do I pare this down? So I like that idea of the
yeah.
fact that
It
you kind of, okay, you maybe get one or two, put the rest aside, let them kind of mature, and let them run around in your head here and there in the back of your
Yeah, and you
brain.
can see clearly if it works or not, right? So a few
Exactly.
times after, and it's cool. And if you come back to the idea and say, "Oh, this is really a cool idea," I thought in the beginning, and now I can I can say that yes, I will go developing these. Someone's just wrote on Mars on hold. Yes, it is on hold, but let's see how long it will be.
Right.
Probably not for long because I playtest the game a few times with one of my developers, a great guy. You probably know him. It's Julian Pombo,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one Uruguayan guy,
Yep.
very crazy. He is developing the solo versions. He has been designing the solo versions of the games with me, and it's a
Okay.
Mars with him a lot of times, and he really liked the idea. And let's see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you had mentioned Tabletopia a couple times. Now, I know that you are a huge fan of being able to use Tabletopia because you can get more playtests in, but you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Tabletopia, I can say that changed my way of designing games. Of course, playtesting, not designing, but the playtesting games.
Understood. Right.
It also helped me to design because we can change stuff quickly. Um, it has a huge it has huge advantages because first you don't have to set up the game, it's already there, right? And then
Sure.
you don't have to go to the houses of the friends, and you just have to wait someone to join your table because it's open and let's try it. And even if the game doesn't work, you can adjust one mechanics and start again. So it's very quick and it can save me a lot of time of playtesting and can be playtested much more times. Lisboa had a huge time of playtesting. The other big advantages is that you can play with completely unknown people, and that is good.
To be able to get
You see
ideas
the
out
game, yeah,
that,
and
yeah,
and with people from all over the world, right? So you Americans think in the way very different from the Belgian or from a German playing games, and it's very fun to an American, an Australian. So nobody can play in the same way. Everybody plays in a different ways. Americans just like to playing games. So you like to beat each other.
not
Germans
always, not
like to play.
always.
Yeah, not always. It's true, but let's generalize things.
Sure,
Okay, so
sure.
yeah. You like more war games than German like.
Fair
So yeah,
enough.
you play more war games. likes to improve their economy playing almost the solo game, right? So they don't mind the multiplayer solo game. So you can see many different minds playing the same game at the same table. So the ideas flow in the speed that is amazing to see. And for me, it's really ideas from everywhere.
That's very cool.
Improve the games. That really helps me to improve my games.
Yeah, it makes sense. Plus, you don't have to worry about shipping out prototypes. You don't have to do all that. You can just be like, hey, come join me, and we're good to go.
Of course, need to see people watching in their eyes, but in terms of designing a game can help a lot. But it's not the same that playing live, because the game takes more time, expressions of the people playing, and it's very different. I still playtest I have groups of playtests around Portugal. From all the groups in Portugal, we have groups on Porto, Leiria, Aveiro, Lisboa, Faro. So many players that like to play heavy games, and I can in the conventions I can play with them. And I live in Lisbon, that is the capital of Portugal, as you know, and it's the huge community of gamers is here, probably here in Porto, and I have a lot of friends here that play my games. So I have the best of the two worlds, you know.
Very nice.
Digital worlds to improve the design and to speed it up, and many people that like heavy games and are available to play my games here in Portugal live. So that's cool. That's cool.
You sound
very lucky for that.
You sound as spoiled as we are as far as design and playtest, as far as we are with just gamers in general around our city. So with our game group.
Well, I really like to have a group with the size of yours, but someday maybe I will be playing with you at your home somewhere. Someday.
I welcome the opportunity. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So, okay, so real quick, for those that are watching at home, so VTOL you open up your Discord channel, and you're testing on Tabletopia to anybody that wants to join. So after the video or after the interview and everything is over, we're actually going to link it down in the show notes at the bottom. So if you guys want to join, it's too long of a address to read off, but Amanda will take care of that, adding that afterwards. So cool. I'm excited that people will be able to join you, VTOL.
Yeah, thank you very much. If people want to join me, I have the Discord channel. Just go there. I usually play the links. I usually open the links there. So for my next games table. So
and
just
as
join.
far as sorry. And as far as you guys asking questions during this, we're gonna open it up to all the questions at the end. Amanda's making notes of all the questions, and she'll send them to me, and I'll ask VTOL there when we're all done here. So keep the questions coming. Okay, so
we have a lot of sorry Edward, we have a lot of questions. Shouldn't we? Oh, you are controlling that, right?
Oh yeah, we'll take care of all that. Don't sweat it. So so getting back to how you have changed and grown and evolved as a designer, how do you feel? How do you feel like you have?
Did I? I don't know. I still do the same stuff. Well, probably not. There's many things that I already know that it will not work. Okay, so I will not make the effort to keep going, because experience does that, right? So
sure.
I won't experience that mechanics because I know that it will not work. But I can try another one that I already know it works well. So that saved me a lot of time. But experience to make better or worse games, I don't know if I grow or not. I think I do just what I feel at the time. So
fair enough. But the experience has definitely, if not changed you, has at least enhanced your ability to design, because of the fact that
for sure,
you know what does and doesn't work, and what you as a gamer and as a designer enjoy and what you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's I can understand immediately because I tried, right? I already
Right.
tried this. It
Exactly.
doesn't work. Or I can also another thing that can come from experience is that you can filter best the comments you received from playtesters, for instance. So now it's easy, not easier, not it's not ever easier, but it's easier some comments that some people say, oh, you should try this or you should change this, and I immediately know, no, okay, I listen, but I don't even answer because I know that it will not work, or sometimes it's not that a good idea came here, or someone have a good idea, and yeah, it's exactly this happened in CO2 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, wow.
We were playing, and I placed the mechanics on the game, and that is very cool. One of the best mechanics of the game, and it wasn't me who created, but I'm very happy to have it. Yeah, it's true. I can tell you, there's a bonus on you in CO2. You have a knowledge track that you can progress, and there's some bonus when you reach some spots in that knowledge. You advance in their spots as a bonus to another knowledge, or receive some goods or whatever. And one guy, we are playing the cooperative version of the game,
Right.
and one guy said, "Why not you be able to give this bonus to another player instead of just keep it for you?" And that improved the game. That idea. So instead of keep the bonus for you, you can offer, since it's a cooperative game to play, right? You can offer that goods to another player. That makes the game much more interactive, and people talk more. That's the idea of a cooperative game, right? People should
Sure. Right. Interact and share ideas.
yeah,
Right.
share ideas, and I was very happy to see, and that idea I see immediately. This is a good idea. So I placed it in the game. Next day I was playtesting, and it works really well. So
That's really cool. That's
yeah,
really
and
cool.
that's the great moments you have when you design a game. You know that just some guy told you. I don't design games alone, right? Because I have a great crew behind me. I have Ego Griffin games with all the stuff. I have Pauline Cow, that is my developer since Kanban.
Yep.
A great developer. Is always available to play with me. We will play a lighter game for my daughter in the next Sunday. Very cool. And always available to design with me. So the guys who made the edition, Ian O'Toole, that's come up with a lot of great graphic ideas. So I have my name on the box, but I am not the only one who make the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm the guy, right? And okay, I can sync the game every day of my days, but if it was not the playtesters, these comments, these ideas, and these guys like Pauline Cow and Julian, I couldn't make the games I do
Sure.
today.
I mean, that makes sense that it's definitely a group effort. You do the heavy lifting, but it's invaluable
right.
without the other guys. I understand that. Totally.
Possible for you to think in everything, okay?
Sure.
Unless you are a genius, maybe, I don't know. Probably there will be guys that do that. I can't.
Yeah, I totally can appreciate that.
Probably Martin Wallace can do that alone, or Vlada probably is another guy that can do that genius alone. But I'm not a genius, just design games, and
just
I really
a guy.
do what I love.
All right, so go ahead.
No, keep going.
I was going to say, so
because of the stories. And
I know, I love how animated and how excited you were getting talking about how you had this playtester come up with this great idea for CO2. So I wanted to kind of follow along talking about, since CO2 is your next coming game after, the Gallerist, Lisboa, which comes out here in 2 weeks at Origins. So talking about CO2, that's kind of a unique design as far as the types of games that you had designed up to that point and up to now, for all intents and purposes, because of the fact that it's co-op / semi-co-op. Where did that come from? Because you don't normally think of co-ops and semi-co-ops as heavier games, which is the type of games that you've designed mostly. So how did that come to be?
Well, first the team, right? It was something that worries me. Not I was researching the team during a long time, and I decided to. It was a risk. It will be my second game, and even Sandra told me it is a risk to release a game or try to release a game. I go forward to it, and at the time I was playing a few games that lacked some interactivity, and I really want to design a game with a lot of interactivity. And that was my mistake, probably, because it's too much interactive, the game. Because people don't own anything, right? So, yeah. And Eurogame, and I may have made a mistake in that game. And releasing the like it was, but it was a risk for me, and I really believe it. And I told you once a history that happens with me in Leiria, with Paulo Soldado, Martin Wallace, and Mark Gerks. Okay. We play test CO2 that time. We guys playing with me, and it was my high point of my career as the game designer, because I was playing with two great game designers, so Martin Wall, Paulo.
Right.
He didn't design games at the time, but yeah, probably he was thinking in Madeira already. But that experience was so huge for me that I changed completely the game in that day. And after that playtesting, I was sure that I want to release the game like it was. Probably also a little bit of because I only had released Vinhos. But I regret one thing or two that I made on that game that I'm trying to correct right now.
All right, so let me interrupt real quick and ask. So are those the reasons specifically as to why you wanted to go back and revisit CO2, or was it just a itch for other reasons, or was it specifically those 2 or 3, however many things that you wanted to change?
Yeah, 2 or 3 things. The first, remember I told you a while ago that the reasons I want to redesign Vinhos and CO2 was different. Yeah, it is. CO2 is because about, and they are right in terms, they are right. They complain that the game is very mean or very aggressive to the player who builds the last step, and there is a stall at the end of the game that people don't like it. If you do the math, you can reach a balance, but people doesn't want to do that. It just like to play and see the points coming in, right? So they don't want to do the math. So one of the reasons is balance this in a way that people could say, okay, I can do this and I receive immediately return. One thing that I promised to myself is that I will not make any more games with hidden scoring. When you build a power plant, you are spending money. So, and money are points. So if the power plant gives you 10 points and you are spending 12 coins, your return is only 4 points. But at the time, what people see is that you just received 10 points. Doesn't matter.
They're not looking at the net of it.
Yeah, they are looking at the net. And that was an experience for myself, for me at the time. And I want to correct this. The other thing is that I just don't want to correct this, but I will, in the reprint, asked me for a reprint of the game. Okay, so I decided I will correct this, but I want to offer something more to the players. And I did with, with Vinhos. I'm doing the same with CO2, that is designing a new version for another public, the public that like to play a cooperative game. And the game is fairly easy to adjust to a cooperative play. Well, not that fairly as I thought. There are some problems that I couldn't solve yet, but I will. I hope that I will. The publisher, Geokix, is in panic because I'm delaying the delivery of the game.
So it's your fault.
And the game go to the. It's my fault. Yeah, it's entirely my fault. I already told him. But I don't want the game to be released without I'm happy with it. Again, I really need to make sure that the game is ready.
All right. So when you go back and revisit, you're revisiting these either for one of two reasons, and correct me if I'm wrong. Either to reach a broader audience because, you do design games for a living and to make money, which obviously makes sense, but also so more people can enjoy your games, or...
And I want more people to play them, right?
Sure. Oh, without a doubt. And the other reason being there might be, for lack of a better way to word it, that you want to just improve upon deficiencies that you feel have been exposed or that you have found?
Yeah, I know fans have to forgive me, but I am human, right? I'm not perfect.
Course.
And I made mistakes, and I admit that it was a mistake from me to release CO2 with that gap. Okay, and I wasn't expecting, because when I made the net, all the maths were correct, right? So, but I didn't thought about people at the table thinking as people, okay?
Fair enough.
And I learned that, from my experience, I learned that. And
all right,
trying to correct this in the new version of CO2, because I could just release the game as it was. Geokix, Mikel wants to just do another reprint of the game, and I told you, no, let's wait. I want to redesign CO2. It's not a bad game. Mathematician, in the terms of math, is very accurate, is very balanced, but I want to make a game more human, more for the people who is playing it.
That totally makes sense. And you want to make the game that you want to make. You want to get it to, like you had talked about earlier, to get it to the point where you're more comfortable with it. You're happy with it.
I hope you like this version most than you like the other one. Okay.
So what VTOL's alluding to is he knows that ZO2, not my favorite of his. That said, I'm looking forward to trying the new version, so I'm willing to give it a shake. Because I mean, as much as you change,
or the competitive,
as much as you change and evolve and mature and gain experience as a designer, we do as gamers, right? So our tastes change the whole 9 yards. So
yes, I heard you telling these a few times, and I also heard you to tell that when you played CO2, you didn't have much experience playing games or heavy games. True. At the time, in a different way now. So,
we're going to give it a fair shake when it comes out.
Yeah, the game is mostly the same, but it's just offer you different paths, and that is fun. We have been really happy and have been having a lot of fun playing this version of the game, and that's makes me happy. Okay, so
very cool.
The game is already there. I'm sorry, Mikel, if you are hearing this. It's still late. I'm not having the rule books, but just let's wait for a couple of months or something. I will finish it.
All right.
So you feel the pressure, right? Yeah.
Sure.
I also feel the pressure, but you understand me, and I'm very lucky because all my publishers can understand that. Yeah.
And
not all. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I mean, everybody that you've talked about publisher wise, be it GeoChicks, What's Your Game, Ego Griffin, or Stronghold,
Yeah.
They all of them seem to have something in common with you in that they give you a little bit of flexibility and a long leash. Bad term, but they give you freedom in your designs to make the game that you want to make.
Yeah, I think they are happy with the sales, right?
That makes sense
Can't
because
complain.
ultimately that's what it's all
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah, games that sell.
Sure.
If they didn't, for instance, I know that Kanban will have a new reprint. I didn't change anything in the game, so guys, don't worry about it. It's the same game, but the publisher just changed the cover and add a few meeples that is cars, wooden cars, beautiful wooden cars that I already had designed them for the first version, but since the publisher Stronghold didn't know if the game would sell or not, it didn't want to increase the prices or increase the cost of the
All
game
right.
for it, and seems like the game have some success inside the target, and he wants to reprint, and now he decided that it was to place those cars on the box. So probably the game will be more expensive because of the cars, but I don't know.
Okay.
He knows best his business, so yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about just kind of all your games in general. So a lot of them have had some sort of mini expansion, whether it be the experts in Vinos, the little extras that they throw in, whether it's promos, mini expansions, whatever. But they've never had any true expansions. Is that because you're satisfied with the game, or is it that that's just not the way you designed?
Well, I think it's both. Okay, I don't play many expansions. I usually only play games with expansions if the first version is not good, and the expansion comes to improve the game.
Okay.
For instance, there's one game that came to. I don't know. Well, sorry, guys. I will remember. The expansion came to improve the game, and people only play the game with expansion. So that's the only way I play games with expansions usually.
Okay.
So I don't do it. I don't do it. This doesn't mean that I can never do it in the future, but
that's not really your forte.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's not my way of designing. Yeah, but I like to have new ideas like the promos or the stretch goals, because the ideas are so much and you cannot place them all in the game. When someone does a Kickstarter and you have the ability, you are available. I will pick up all the ideas I had and let's go, let's do it, and offer something to people.
That's cool.
Many people like it. Others never played with the expansions or the mini expansions or the promotions. But for instance, the experts always played with them.
Yep, we do too.
I had
always.
Yeah, so because it's give more variability to the game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's fun because I take this one. You have more, and you are not seeing all the time the same stuff. Yeah.
Right. All right, so let's change it up a little. So let's talk about a couple of your upcoming games that are on the lighter side. So you have Escape Plan, which you mentioned earlier. You also have Dragon Keeper, which is, so these are lighter games than what you've designed previously. And Dragon Keeper, correct me if I'm wrong, Keepers, sorry, you're designing with your daughter. Was that her idea or was that your idea?
Come up with the conversation with me and her. She knows a lot about dragons. That's why. For me, I don't think I ever remember to make a team with dragons because I'm not a fantasy game. I'm a fantasy game guy. So yeah, but she came up with it and the idea was cool, and I want to have a kids game. Of course, the game have a version to people more to grown-ups. So it's the version for grown-ups is a cooperative version that is hard to win.
Well, any good co-op should be, right?
Yeah, but you can play with your kids in 10 minutes. You explain the game in 2, 3, 4 minutes and play one of the versions. The dragons, the art are very cool. But if you want to play something, I will say a filler between two good games, the co-op version can be cool for you if you
Okay.
want to play something with dragons.
All
Okay,
right, cool. So needless to say, though, this is not a new direction that you're going. This is just
no, it
a
is not. It
something
was an
that you want to do.
experience, yeah, but it's hard experience, very hard because I'm never happy with the game. So I'm still play testing the game, and I play test this game so many times. You don't believe it. It's a really cool game, very small game, and it's uh, giving me a damn hard time of work. Yeah, yes.
Very cool.
Um,
So,
Escape Plan is a completely different beast. Yeah,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it's an easier game, but it's an adventure game, but it's not heavy. It's a medium game. Okay, it can play. It's fun, but it's almost um, cups against thieves. You are thieves. You want to escape from the city with money that you stole from a bank robbery and invested in the city. People, the story is there. Is these people are mad with each other? The players are mad with each other, so they are trying to push the cups against the other ones and leave the city with the most money. The most guy wins. So it's still an economic game with a most fun, you can say, fun team, not a heavy simulation game, but it can. I think it can be fun. Let's see what happens. I'm
Okay.
not sure yet.
So,
I'm playtesting the game. I'm happy with some. I'm not happy with some other parts.
okay.
Uh,
So is this
Next game
almost
with
like
Eagle Griffin.
are these almost like a challenge for yourself to try and design something that isn't your wheelhouse? Because as you've said before, I mean, you tend to focus on the heavier, thinkier, more involved, heavy economic games, whereas these are completely out of your normal wheelhouse. So where did these come from?
Well, I'm still designing heavy games. Mars is
Sure.
a heavy game, and that's my line. But this one comes because I really like the idea, and I think I have to rest a little bit of time from the. It's also a challenge to me because I must know that I can be able to design other stuff.
Okay.
So this happened to me once when after I designed venues with What's Your Game. I was not sure if I was able to design alone with another company. So I
Okay.
had that few moments of fear
Oh, totally.
that
I get that.
I just designed this one with this guy. I don't know if I can design without him. And well, fortunately, that didn't happen. And this is another challenge again. I'm a guy from advertising, right? So I'm an art director. I always need to create something, and I always to be creating something different all the time. And yeah,
Okay. All right.
I
So
think people will like the game. I hope so. Yeah.
I'm very curious to check them out, even if they're not in our normal wheelhouse, because I'm curious to see where you can go as a designer. Because I feel like I've gotten an, even if I didn't know you, VTOL, I feel like I would know quite a bit about you just from the way you go about designing games and the way that you go theme first and how you like your interlocking mechanisms and all that. But this is so out of the ordinary, I think is a good way to put it for you, that I'm genuinely curious to see what you can come up with in something that isn't your wheelhouse, so to speak.
My wheelhouse, my beach, right?
Right.
My. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Life has many paths, right? So why not try some different and see what you can do? Yeah.
Have fun with it, right? Hey, if you're not
Yeah,
having
I'm
fun
happy.
designing,
And also this can be good for me. I can confess this because I can go to a new target, right? So I can bring more people to play my games, opening a game to a new people.
Yeah, new
And
audience.
the
Yes.
challenge, yes, the challenge is to keep the ones I have and pick up.
And add to it.
Let's see. I hope I can do
and
it. And
and that helps us. That helps us both as heavy gamers, but also as the podcast and the YouTube channel, because of the fact that if you are able to bring people along and start them out with these games like Escape Plan and so on and so forth, and if they continue along that path and they find Vinos, they find the Gallerist, they find all that, then it's more people for us to play with, as well as more people that might be interested in what we do. So it's a win-win, right?
yeah, it's a win-win. It's good to make business like that, right?
Right.
It's a good business. Yeah. It's everyone wins. It's
Totally. All right. So let me ask you something that I've been dying to ask you for a couple of weeks now. All right. So your love of the Martin Wallace's brass is pretty well known. That's if not.
Oh, I knew that coming. Yeah, okay.
So it was really, really entertaining for me sitting here when we did our live stream of Brass Birmingham, the revision, or let me rephrase that, the new version of Brass, kind of like an Age of Steam difference in map that we live stream. Both Gavin and Matt from Roxley Games were in the chat, and you and Matt were getting into it back and forth about why they changed certain things in the game, not in Lancashire, but in Birmingham. And it was fascinating to me to see the interaction between two different designers and how that interaction was going down. And it was civil. It wasn't heated or anything like that. I just know you're passionate about brass.
We just changed.
Difference of opinion.
Yeah, we had already exchanged a few emails before, so about to get the same game, because it's not difficult to go to BGG and see how many plays I have from the game, right? I have 18, 19 brass logs on BGG,
Right.
and I play a lot on internet, also brass, maybe 500 plays of brass.
Right.
So I'm very used to the game. So, and he obviously he developed a new game, so he knows the game very well.
Sure. So let me ask you.
Sometimes we don't agree with some stuff, right?
Right.
And
I'm curious to get your take on it when you get a chance to play it. In fact, if you want, I can bring it with me to Origins and we can try it.
Oh, that would be cool.
And I would get crushed, but it'd be a lot of fun.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
So let me ask you, what aspects of brass, is there anything in that game that you would like to take upon yourself to incorporate into a game, or is that game sacred to you that no, leave brass alone, that should be its own thing, and then I will not take anything from that in my own designs, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think brass is brass, so don't mix the games. So but it's not perfect. I discussed this once with Martin Wallace. That link that nobody uses, it's taken stuff from the game. Yeah, and but there are other things that I don't agree with how the way was made. It's technical stuff, like everybody knows that nobody places the store level 1 because it doesn't worth it. But the way he saw it, the reason he saw it, why nobody plays that store, and the reason I saw why nobody plays the store was different. So the changes for me should take a different path than the ones that Matt took.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So it'll be interesting to get your take on it when you get a chance to try it then. Yeah,
I think that we play level 1 just because we know we want to have to speed up our economy.
Right.
because the level 1 store doesn't give enough points, just give money to start. Okay, so it can
Right.
avoid you to get the first loan or something. So you get one action for you, extra action, because you don't lose time to get a loan. And I think the problem is because it just gives 2 points, not because economy.
Right.
So my change would be to increase the money. His change was to increase the number of points.
All
So
right.
we don't agree with that change. The
Okay.
other thing that is big for me, and he should not change it, was the loans. That was the rule that says that you cannot take loans at the end of the game.
Right. I know that was the big thing that you guys were getting into. But
Yes,
all right. All
because
right.
that can decide the winner. Yeah. And
All right. So one last thing before we head over to the peanut gallery and take a couple of questions. So on your designer page on BGG, there is a game that is listed on there, but it doesn't have an entry in it. And forgive me if I butcher the pronunciation, but is it
Machina.
Machina? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I
Machina.
did it right. All right.
I know someone asked it here
Yeah.
already.
So what is that?
Yeah, it's an idea. It's empty, right? From a book I read a long time ago, and it's totally secret. I
Oh,
will not
okay.
tell
Fair
anything.
enough. Fair
Okay,
enough.
so it will be a very different game. I hope to make a very different game. It's
Well,
an idea. I try a few things. I have a few drawings. Ian already saw it and knows what I'm talking about, so I'm not inventing anything.
okay.
So Ian, if you are there, just confirm, Edward, that this is a real game and a real idea, not a game that I'm really excited
All right.
about it.
Well, hopefully when you can talk about it, you can come back on and we
Yeah,
can talk about it. Yeah.
we can, and we will have a lot of the machine. It's not the machine, it's machina, but yeah,
Okay. All right.
it's we will for sure.
All right.
Okay.
So here we go. So let's see. Lewis asks, how would you rate the complexity? How would you rank them? Whether it's Lisboa, Venus, the Gallery CO2 second edition. So while you drink here, for me, I think Venus and Venus and Lisboa are real close as far as just. It's a lot to take in, but once you get it, they both flow, but it's a matter of getting it to that point. And then I would put the Gallerist down below that. And as far as CO2, you tell me.
Really, do you think Lisboa is heavy?
It's got some.
Venus?
I just taught it twice at
You need to play
HeavyCon.
it with me. Yeah, you need to play it with me because I tell you the stories from the mechanics behind, and you will never forget it.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I wrote those in the rule book, so for people to understand. For instance, lightest game, Lisboa, and he knows all my games because he does the gaming rules,
Right.
Yeah. So, but which games are the most complex and which ones are the least? I don't know. I can say that the most complex game I have, probably Venus, yes.
Right.
Then probably Kanban after it. And I don't know. Gallerist and Lisboa have the same weight for me.
Ah, all
They're
right.
very different. Once you start playing Lisboa, the game is really easy. You play one card and you take one card, right?
That's funny because I
you
taught
have
it.
9 actions to choose. So
I get that, but I just taught this twice at HeavyCon, and I joked that it's a real simple game. You play a card, you draw a card. Where's the problem? So there's a little bit more to it than that. You and I both know that, though.
yes, I know. I know what I'm going to hear. Complexity, just for the sake of complexity.
I disagree.
That's the sentence
I really do. And here's the thing. So on that note, let me mention this. Then, when I was teaching Lisboa this last weekend at HeavyCon, both times that I taught it, and you know this from listening to our show and everything else, that theme, it's not really a deal breaker if a game does not have a real well integrated theme. I can deal with it as long as the mechanisms are good. However, I will say this, that the theme of Lisboa worked so well in the integration of the mechanisms that this is the first game that I've ever taught on the heavier end of the spectrum that explaining the why with the theme behind it made teaching and the absorption of the teaching from the other player standpoint way easier. So seriously, well done on that.
It's good. Thank you. It's good to hear that, because I even wrote that in the rule book. You noticed all the mechanics are explained with the small box explaining why they are there. So yeah, I really made an effort to show people that the team comes first from the mechanics with me, because that sentence I just said to you, complexity for the sake of complexity, that I keep hearing, it hurts, you know?
Sure.
Because, okay, the games can be complex, but if I take that complexity from the game, I heard what I heard from many people saying that, oh, I didn't like the first Vinhos because it's too much complex, but now I play this one and I really prefer the other one because you took some complexity for the game that it was there and give character to the game, or it gave the pressure of a game like this, or something else, I don't know. But it's strange to see that people need to play a lighter version to see that the other one at the final is not that complex. Is that I just want to place it.
And I agree that, and I've said this a lot recently, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on the show, whatever, that I don't want a game have all the rough edges taken off of it, because of the fact that those rough edges are what give the game its character, which give the game its soul. And I feel like the banking aspect in Vinhos does exactly that. And when you take that out on the 2016 version, the game is fine, but it's not the game that I want to play.
Yeah, the game is still good. Not, for instance, again, with Grogan, he prefers to play the new version than you prefer to play the new version. Many people have different tastes, right? So
totally.
I just try to make the games good, and try to make most of the people to enjoy them. And
Nothing
you
wrong
enjoy
with
the
that.
first version, Paul enjoyed the second version, so everybody's happy.
Sure. Okay, so Jared asks, what version, I know the answer to this, but what version of Vinhos do you prefer to play?
I like both. Sometimes I prefer to have most tension and difficult game to play. Sometimes I prefer to play something that doesn't make me think so hard or let me tired after played. I can confess, Vinhos let me tired after played.
Oh, you and me both. I've always said that it's arguably the hardest game I've had to play up until this last year. That definitely was the case.
It's not hard because of the rules. It's hard because
it's up here.
You really have to think, right?
Yes,
so,
totally. All right,
I like to hear that.
So Jamie asks, talk about your collaboration with Ian O'Toole, which obviously Ian O'Toole has done a lot of your games of recent.
And he still do it. He still does. He will do CO2.
Okay.
And I hope he have time to make Escape Plan also.
Okay. So is that a you brought him on, or is that the publisher, or how does that work? How did that come to be?
I think we made a good team. Just that. He have great ideas. I can reach him. I can communicate with him in an easy way. So with team that is wanting, should not change, right? And we became friends. And we chat every day using Hangout or Skype or... We work on a daily basis in my games, and I cannot do that with any other designer. And fortunately, Eagle Griffin lets me work with him. The problem is that Eagle Griffin is also giving work from other guys from them, and he has less time for me now. Of course, the guy needs to work, right? So
Sure. Oh, so now, so there's jealousy now. Now you're like, no, he was
no,
mine first. No, I'm
yes,
kidding. I'm
I'm
kidding. I'm
really
kidding.
jealous. I don't have time. Ian, are you listening? I need to talk to you tomorrow. I was not confused.
All right. So you said that CO2, you're still working on some things here and there. Are we still looking at Essen, or do you have a time frame? Do you think, or too
No,
early to
probably
say?
not that. It was at the beginning, yes, when I talked with the publisher, GeoKicks last year, it will be Hessen. Probably will not be because of me. It's not ready, the game.
The game's done when it's done, right?
Probably Kickstarter will be still this year, July, August, September, I don't know. But
Okay.
the game is postponed by the GeoKick site for Mars already.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah, I'm not worried with it. I just need to have it ready, and that's what I want. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't want to redesign it.
Sure. Sure. All right. So let's see here, Eric.
It was a joke, yeah, but
Oh,
it
go
was a
ahead.
joke.
What?
I don't. It was a joke. I don't want to redesign
Oh,
it.
no,
So,
no, no, no. I know. So who is your favorite designer that other than you? Is it Martin Wallace or is it someone
other
else?
than me, yes. Other than me, it's cool. No, it's Martin Wallace. Still is Martin Wallace. But I really like designs from other designers. One of my favorite games from nowadays, it's a really light one. Well, medium maybe from Feld. It's custom. I really love. I
Oh,
really
sorry.
dig
Hold
that
on. You
design.
cut out. You said Castles of Burgundy?
Castles. It's one of my favorite games.
Huh. All right.
That game.
That's one of mine and Amanda's favorite games to play together as well. So
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Good
It's
deal.
really. I really dig designs from Stefan Feld. I love their first designs. The one with China, how do you talk? The Year of the Dragon, right? Remember
Yes.
that one?
Well,
Did you
of
play
course
it?
you like that because the game
Great.
hates you. Of course you like that.
Yes. So I love the game, and he has great designs. Feld.
All right.
Ulf, of course, have also great designs. I like Vlada. I think he's a genius because he's so versatile and he designs so many stuff with fun. I think that guy can design anything.
I agree that he is the most unique designer that I've ever. We were talking about this weekend, that he has a range that almost no other designer has. That he can design heavy games through the ages, Dungeon
Yes.
Pets, Dungeon Lords, Galaxy. I mean,
Old names, yeah.
it's
He can
crazy.
do it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So I like a lot of designers. Martin Wallace stay with me because Mike Gerks. I love Mike Gerks. I love their first designs. Imperial is still one of my first games and my favorite designs. But Martin Wallace stays with me because I play tested with him. You know,
That's got to be cool.
Yeah, I knew him and I had interviews with him. And I even defend him or being involved in problems they have. So I think I know it better as a designer.
Uh-huh.
He have Age of Steam, he have Brass, he have Tinner's Trail, he have a lot of great games that I love and
Okay.
I still play.
All right. So, two last
They-
questions here. All right.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is Trent asks, what themes do you have on the back burner to explore? So, okay, obviously you have On Mars, which is on hold but coming, understood.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
Machina, which is a big mystery. And then now you also earlier you said that some of these games, you'll mess with and it'll be a couple years and then you'll come back. Do you
Yes.
have any idea on, and I realize we're talking about 2019 at this point, 2020, but is there
Yeah.
something
2020, 2021. Yeah.
right? Is there something that there's a fire inside you that you're like, I need to design this about this theme?
Sorry, I didn't heard your last part.
Oh,
Edward.
sorry. I say, is there a theme that is just burning inside you that you're like, this theme has to get done. I have to make a game about this, whatever this is.
Well, right now, I don't know. I'm very divided. I had it during Lisboa. I had it during the Gallerist. Kanban is about cars. Not something that I have to burn it about it.
Right.
I really love wine, but my next designs, I have the same passion to design them.
Okay.
I don't know if they are the team, right?
Okay.
There are so many teams that you can write about or design about, so that I just enjoy them.
Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe sometimes maybe one day I found one. I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
about beach.
Well, it is Portugal.
I don't know yet.
All right. Last question. So Kent asks, have you favorite books? Do you read a lot of novels or anything like that?
I'm from one of my favorite books, and the game was called The Weather Machine. I'm already telling you some information about it.
Right.
I don't know. I like Jack London. I like a lot of police romances. I read light books sometimes because I like to be at the beach or something and read a book. And I like some fantasy, Tolkien, of course.
Okay. All right.
Tolkien, I read Tolkien, and I'm a fan of Star Wars. So, but every stuff that appears to read about them. Yeah, I read. I don't have a favorite
author,
writer.
Okay.
But I read them. Yeah,
Awesome.
I like to.
All right.
And yeah,
well,
that's it. Oh, before we finish,
sure.
I have. You asked me about Portuguese food. So yeah, and because I didn't know how to say in English, but once you come to Portugal, Leiria probably next year.
Yep. We are coming. Yep.
You have to try the Portuguese stew. It's cozido, right? It's stew.
Okay.
With a lot of meat, different meat.
Okay.
And stew potatoes. It's great. It's Portuguese, very very healthy. And you have to try a thing that is a little bit strange for you, probably. That is, I will say in Portuguese, carne de porco alentejana, means roasted pork with clams.
That sounds delicious. I love clams. I love pork. Yes.
And pork, but it's one of my favorite dishes in Portugal.
We will do that at Lyricon in 2018.
Yeah,
date.
Try carne de porco alentejana.
I am going to have to brush up on my Portuguese because that is a lot of words to say.
You know to say bom dia and obrigado, right?
Si.
It's enough. It's enough for us. We talk the rest in English. Okay?
All right. Okay. Hey, VTOL.
Always welcome here.
So thank you. I mean, we've been going for over an hour and a half. I really, really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh.
Exactly. See, I told you it was going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and I talk a lot. I hope people didn't get bored to hear me.
I don't think so. I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed it. All right. So seriously, thank you very much for taking the time. Thanks for designing the games that you designed that we enjoy playing. And
I will keep doing my best, Edward. Thank you very much for
please,
inviting me.
of
Yeah,
course, and I will see you in 2 weeks at Origins.
yeah. I'm really eager because I will have a lot of people asking to play Lisboa, right?
For
It's
sure.
not. It will be the time of my life because I will demoing and play Lisboa during 5 days in a row for a lot of people. That will
That's
never happen again.
that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. And yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Edward, and great show you have here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So VTOL, hang out for 1 second and I will
Yes.
shut it down, but stay on the line. So everybody watching at home, thank you very, very much for joining us. This is the first time we have tried something like this. So if you like it, subscribe, everything. Our patrons, we're up to 211. Support us, patreon.com/heavy cardboard. Other than that, thank you. And I will be back later on this week with more content. We'll figure out as we go along since I'm doing this full time now. So thanks a lot, y'all. All right. Take care.
Thank you very much.